Good morning, everybody. It's Emily. I'm back with your daily wisdom shot for today. It's December 3rd. However, these are intended to resonate whenever you come across them. So this could be a month from now, it could be a week from now. But I am reading this on December 3rd. Also, while they're intended to be for the day on which you come across them, they could extend, to a time period of a week or so, 3 days to a week or so. So I say that because I'm looking at these cards and I do get the feeling that this encompasses a greater period of time than just today. It could also be that it encompasses just a 24-hour period for you. It really depends on your situation. If that's the case, then the energies that we're pulling out are maybe a little bit dialed down. They're not as intense and I guess impactful as they would be if we were talking about them over a longer period of time, if that makes sense. So I'm drinking my morning coffee, so I apologize. I'm going to have to stop to sip it every once in a while because that is my life. I am obsessed with and terribly, horribly addicted to coffee. In any case, welcome and thank you to new subscribers and to all my existing subscribers. I appreciate you guys so much. I am just really working on building my channel and building my healing practice in general. So you guys are a huge part of that, and every time you subscribe, share, any of that stuff, it really helps to spread the word and get it out there. Even though I would say the main thing I do is energy healing, but I have a true love for the tarot cards and cards in general, so this is like a labor of love for me, and I appreciate all of you who keep coming back to listen and subscribe and share. I'm super grateful. I have not gotten one dislike yet, but my channel isn't very big. I'm just over 100 subscribers, so in any case, keep it going, and thank you so much for being a part of that and being a part of this journey for me and being a part of building what I hope will help a lot of people in the future. Sorry, my cough is still here. I'm getting over it. It's getting better, but of course when I talk it brings it out more. One more note. I'm sorry, I know everybody hates the delays in the beginning, but one more note is that I will be raising my rates after the first of the year. So until the end of December, you can still purchase sessions and readings at the current rate, at the old rate. I just ask that you schedule those sessions and readings before the end of February, okay? So you would purchase them before the end of December, but the dates that you pick, I just ask that they be used up before the end of February, all right? I appreciate that, and here we go with your reading. So I've drawn the cards. Our underlying energy for today, I actually threw in reversals today and reprogrammed the deck for that, just for shits and giggles, because I like to mix things up. And the only reversal we drew today is the underlying energy, and that is the Hanged Man in reverse. So I'm feeling like there's a little bit of clarity and a little bit of understanding that is creeping in to us understanding why things have felt so stalled, and why I guess it's understanding the redirection of our attention into our own healing as being the reason for things kind of being slow and suspended right now, if that makes sense. In the past, I feel like we felt like it was senseless, like why the hell is all this happening? But now there's some clarity sort of creeping in, and because of that clarity and the healing that's taking place as a result, things are starting to move forward. Like it's so if you look at the card, in the upright, he's standing upright with one leg up and his hands are placed out in front of him in the forward position. So this tells me that there's some forward movement that's happening, even though we are still all in the place of needing to direct our attention inward to healing that needs to occur. Okay, it's just less of it's a kind of lifting of that feeling of senseless martyrdom, which is kind of where we were before at times when we weren't realizing how much we needed this time of healing and bringing light to our darkness, if that makes sense. So that's where we are right now. I think after these last couple weeks, we have been in this place of maybe not understanding or darkness, and the healing that takes place through the darkness, and then there's the light that comes in, and the light is now coming in for us. However, there is still a lot of healing taking place and a lot of upsets that need to be healed, and that is where we're starting with our reading today. The first column is the Queen of Pentacles with the Tower. And you can read this in a lot of ways. I asked at this reading before whoever is obviously watching this video, but also for the people that I'm attracting into my sphere of healing. And so for me, I'm broadening the meaning of this to mean that this is a breaking open of the realization of our own self-worth. So we had there were limiting beliefs surrounding our own self-worth in the past, because for me the Queen of Pentacles is all about knowing our worth and creating situations in which we are respecting our own self-worth. And the Tower here is almost like a breaking through of the illusions of that. This is like breaking down the things that were not real for us, and that means the illusion of a lack of self-worth, or the things that we thought mattered but don't. This just really points to the things that do matter. And I'm just hearing in my head, a video that I watched from two of my teachers, who are Anne and Katrina from the Twin Flame Way, and they did a video months ago called What Matters, and it's like finding the mattering or the matter in the regular day-to-day things, the matter, literally the physical world, right? And that, when I watched that video a while ago, that was like so enlightening to me, because I tend to deny the physical world in favor of the spiritual. I want to withdraw myself from my day-to-day job and my day-to-day interactions in order to meditate and do healing work and move forward on my soul's journey, or so I thought. But the reality is that we're moving forward in our soul's journey in our day-to-day life. But what's required is our attention being brought to it, and love being brought to it, and moving forward in our day-to-day tasks, whether it be through our regular job, or making my vet appointments for my dogs, or doing the laundry or whatever, but doing it fully and completely with love is really what their message was. And I definitely encourage you to look up the Twin Flame Way, because they're amazing teachers and healers, and I just appreciate them so much. But that to me is the message that's coming through the Queen of Pentacles with the Tower today, is just breaking open what we thought was important to us and where we were hanging our self-worth, and finding that in the very mundane at times, okay? There may be a moment where you come up against really uncomfortable stuff around your self-worth and around what grounds you and the day-to-day tasks that you're doing in order to create your life. If that happens, then there's an opportunity then to, there's all these flowers around the Queen of Pentacles here, and I feel like there's this opportunity to bring love and joy into that in order to heal that upset, that breakdown in whatever you have going on, because that breakdown is going to point to something in your life that's not working, okay? That's not working for you. And so while the Tower looks scary and a lot of people fear it, and if there's a card that people hate in the deck, it's usually this Tower. There's another card that also came up in our reading that people hate, and I'll talk about it when I get to it. But to me, this is forward movement, because it's wiping away the stuff that isn't working. It's breaking that down in a really profound way. So for each of us, it's going to be different what that is. But this is just a breaking away of the illusions, a collapsing of the illusions in our lives. And this is what makes the forward movement possible. So moving on, the next column is all about forward movement. And we have the Knight of Wands showing up here, which is really aggressive forward movement. And I feel like that's like when the Tower comes down, it's like, this is sort of a mini version of the Chariot to me. When the Tower comes down, you're like ignited into forward expansion in your life and in your spirit. And this is like spiritual expansion forward, because it's the wand suit. It comes up here with the Seven of Wands, which to me can mean a few different things. For me, I feel like this is just not creative, but courageous. Can be creative. In fact, because I started with that word, that needs to be heard by somebody. So I feel like there's some creative courage happening here. It's also spiritual courage. That you're moving into some uncharted territory. And I feel like, because of this breaking down of illusion, you're actually stepping into some of the places where you felt held back before. If you listen to my reading from last night, which was a pick a card reading for what's holding you back, I feel like this is that having been broken down, and you're allowing yourself to walk into uncharted territory that is maybe not feeling as stable and guaranteed as you might have liked. But this is necessary at this time, because you're following your intuition and you're following that highest guidance. For me, it's like connecting into the God of my understanding, right? So for me, the God of my understanding is this all inclusive, highest vibrational white light energy, which includes which includes all of us, because for me, we're all sparks of the divine. That may be something different, for you. You may have a very traditional idea of what God is. You might have a polytheistic idea of what God is. You might not believe in a God specifically at all, but you believe in the goodness of nature and humanity, and to you, that is your guiding principle. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, what's your guiding principle? And that is what you're following passionately and courageously into this new truth that's being revealed by the falling of the Tower. And that's, revealing what is truly valuable to you, where your true value lies, and what truly has value in your life. I feel like, so the next piece that's coming up here is the Emperor with the Three of Swords. And the Three of Swords is another one of those cards that people just truly dislike, because traditionally it means heartbreak. It means disappointment and heartbreak, but really heartbreak. It's like those three swords that are usually shown as just stabbed through the heart. And like that image is so potent to people because we all know what that feels like. And that's coming up with the Emperor here. So, for me, just driving it back home to a wider audience and the idea of the breakdown of illusions and the understanding of what truly matters to us and what is truly has where our true self-worth, the seat of our true self-worth, I guess, is what I'm looking at here, and moving fearlessly into that territory. To me, this is telling me that, there are things in our lives right now that we're being forced to release, that we're being forced to accept as a loss. And these are things that were creating some kind of stability in our lives. They were guiding principles in our life. Not really guiding principles, but they were structural must-haves in our lives up to this point. So I'm going to be super honest and say, like, for me, this is my full-time job that I spent 10 years building, almost 10 years building. And it's come to my attention that this is what's holding me back, and this is what is hindering the growth of, what I know I need to do now, and that's my healing work with my clients and attracting new people in, and seeing where I can really use my gifts and talents, and that has supported me in an important way for so long. And leaving that, I was telling someone last week, feels like a breakup. It honestly feels like a divorce, because it has been my whole life for the last 10 years. All of my stability has come from there. Things from like my own spiritual growth has come through doing the work that I'm doing and building the business that I did. I mean, it's not just any business. Was my life's calling for that period of my life, and that was to build and to run an animal rescue, which I will probably always have as part of my life, but it can no longer be the central structure in my life, right? It provided my salary. It provided, what I did in my daytime. It provided the value and the worth of my day-to-day existence. And I, have had to understand that there is still value and worth in that. However, there's parts of that are breaking away. Parts of the illusion of that being my only stability and what I'm doing for the rest of my life has had to kind of fall away at this point, because I'm moving forward and onto a different path. And my own emperor energy, my own inner masculine, is having to take steps courageously forward into this new path for me. So that's my life, and that's going to translate in a different way in your life. So that may be leaving a relationship, or it might be leaving a comfort zone or a group that you've been involved with. I think for a lot of people, this feels like the breakdown of a relationship or a marriage or a committed relationship of some sort, which is exactly what this job has been for me for 10 years. I literally set aside personal relationships in order to be in relationship with my soul's purpose at that time, which was to build a nonprofit which would save thousands and thousands of animals, right? So that's obviously worthwhile, you know what I mean? There's no shame in having done that, but there's also no shame in now being at a different part of my life where I need to move forward into a different path. And so if you are one of those people who are having to leave a committed relationship, again, there's no shame in having done that. There's also no shame in stepping into a new part of your life. And this may translate into family relationships with you, or like, I'm feeling that there's somebody here who may be taking care of a sick parent or something like that. And that is sort of transitioning where you're going to need to step into your power more courageously onto your path. There might be a different creative situation for some of you. I have a lot of creatives in my client base. So I feel like a lot of you are stepping into a new creative project, which is requiring a degree of courage and requiring you stepping out of your comfort zone and stepping away from the projects or the creative template that you've used in the past. Okay, so a lot of this is happening, and this is all in a forward to, this is all helping you to move forward to greater things. It's breaking out of this hanged man feeling that we've kind of been in for the last, I don't know, maybe month or so, even though we're just stepping back into a new, this is weird, we're stepping into a new cycle of Venus in retrograde, but in a different sign. I think it's in the sign of Scorpio. So this might be why all of these illusions are breaking down, and these, we're being forced to look deeper into what holds value for us, but looking underneath what we have been looking at on the surface. So there's the value of Venus, but also like the underside, the underbelly of it in Scorpio that maybe we're all kind of looking into right now, and just really stepping courageously into that uncharted territory, or that maybe less frequently walked path of ours. Okay, if that, I'm trying to make some sense with all the messages that are coming in at this time. So to avoid continuing to repeat myself, just know that the things that are falling away now are just to really reveal the things that are actually important to you and important in your life, and to reveal a more core set of values for yourself and for your life, and that we're asked to courageously step into that, following our highest guidance, and allowing the things that provided structure for us in the past may not be providing that structure in the near future, and to allow those things to fall away, and to allow the breakdown of those things in order to bring in the new path that you're stepping into. I hope this makes some sense for you, and that I didn't just babble for like 20 minutes. Let's go ahead and pull an oracle card, just because, why not? And I love these new cards that I got. They're called I think they're called Shine Your Light cards. They're gorgeous. I'm just going to pull one card for all of you who are listening, and all of those that I am attracting into my healing practice and into my viewership. Please, to support our reading today, to give us a little more advice. Oops. Okay, so 2 fell out. Oh, 3 fell out. Okay, 3 fell out. We're going to read them all. Number 1, the initiation, rite of passage, crossing the threshold. This is exactly what we're talking about. This is a new initiation into a new period of your life. So you're crossing the threshold into a new period, but you're doing it. It's requiring a lot of courage, and it's requiring the shedding of a lot of it could be limiting beliefs, but it could simply be the structure of your old life. This is a new life you're stepping into. And there's there's lightning happening in the background. There's clearly a destruction, a breaking down of the tower of the old, which is no longer serving you. And while this might feel sad, it's actually an initiation period. Secondly, we have the warrior woman. Have you answered your deepest calling? Again, this is about the courage to step into your new calling, your deepest calling. Stepping out of whatever you were doing before, which was great and it was perfect for that time. But this is a new time. This is a new calling, a new period in your life where you're going to be learning new things. You're going to be attracting new soul family. You're going to be attracting a completely, I'm seeing like some of you actually being gifted a brand new energy or combined energy, especially if you're, if you have, if you're working within the space of a divine complement kind of situation, like you're being gifted a new group energy that you're working through. And the final card that came out here is Get Grounded. Empaths, highly sensitives, connect with nature. So I feel like the message here is that, in this time of change and getting and having to step into a new energy, that you can find your core, you can find your stability by getting grounded, getting into nature, connecting to the earth. Because while the earth is also raising in vibration, it is our most stable physical source of grounding energy. So be sure that you're doing that during this time to help avoid feeling like you are out of touch or like out of control, or that you lack any kind of stability. That is your stability. So ground to the earth to provide stability during this time of really intense energetic and physical and emotional change and healing. Okay. Thanks, guys. I hope this is meaningful for you. Please do let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.